Now that we covered the main syntax of CSS, tried to understand what selectors are and how to apply specific values to specific properties, as well as understanding how conflicts and inheritance works within the browser, it's worth looking into some of the properties in greater detail. And I would like to start doing this by looking into the property related to fonts. So there are a number of properties which are related to fonts, and we have already used some of them, properties such as font size, font style, and font weight. We have also applied the property font family. Font family defines the actual TypeScript that we're using with text. The size is specifying how big the font should be, and so on and so forth. These are not the only properties related to fonts. If you would like to see complete full of properties, then you can follow the link, and I'm going to do this straight away, and open up the Mozilla Developer Network documentation to show you what kind of properties are there. So you can see that the number of properties is actually rather substantial, and you can explore what each of those doing in your own time. We can go back, however, and look at an example of using font size, for example. We can apply specific values such as 14 pms. We can also use alternative measures such as pixels, points, or EMs. With fonts, however, we can use another vague size, for example, XS small or X small, small, medium, and large, and so on. You might be surprised to know that you can also apply percentages with fonts. So when it comes to relative sizes, percentages are applicable to fonts, but they are not very common when it comes to using percentages with font sizes. Font family is another property that we can use within CSS. Font family specifies what type of TypeScript the browser is going to use for presenting the textual information. In this example, we're using a single font assigned to the font family, Georgia, and in H2 we're using another font which is called Courier New. So as you noticed, when it comes to using font names which contain more than one word, we have to assign the value by using quotes. So this is absolutely necessary to avoid problems and syntax errors due to spaces within the names of the fonts. So always remember to put quotes when it comes to multi-word font names, for example, Times New Roman. In addition to assigning a specific font, font family allows you to assign a number of fonts which can be separated using a comma. And most importantly, assign a font family such as serif or sans serif. Serif is the font that has got this decorative elements, and sans serif is a much plainer font such as Arial and Helvetica. So font family allows us to specify the different types of fonts in case the user's machine hasn't got the fonts installed on their device. For example, if you specify Garamond, Times New Roman, and serif, the browser will try to find Garamond. If the font is not there, then it will try to locate Times New Roman, and if the font is not there, then it will go for any serif type of font. So this gives you as much control as possible, regardless whether the person has got the font installed or not. Now, what I would like to draw your attention to is there are web fonts where you could refer the user to the fonts which are not installed on the machine, but are still freely available on the web for them to use on any of the devices. So this will allow you to make your websites as consistent and consistently displayed on various devices, regardless what types of fonts are installed on the devices that are used for accessing your web pages. We have already used font weight and font style in this presentation. So it's apparent that we can use font weight to make a piece of text bold or font style to make the text italic. So what's useful to highlight here is that rather than using the B tag and I tag, when it comes to providing stylistic information within the HTML, it's always better to use CSS rather than using HTML tags. So focus on using CSS when it comes to presentation and avoid using I and V tags in your HTML. This concludes the part where we discuss properties related to fonts, but I would encourage you to explore these properties further in your own time.